Support women, support girls, support soccer, encourage girls to play soccer
Hey everybody, I'm your host Elad, and today I'm reporting to you from New York City at the 2019 Women's FIFA World Cup Championship. The USA won the Women's World Cup. Let's go talk to some people, see what's going on. I see we have a sign over here. It says, I believe that women will conquer more than just the soccer field, like breaking every single glass ceiling. Can you tell me a little bit more about the sign and what it means for you to be out here?
Yeah, can you explain it?
This is the lawsuit, the complaint that the women filed against the United States Soccer Federation, printed in the background. And obviously it's just been covered in the news. These women are achieving incredible things on the field, and they're not being paid equally for it. So we're out here to support the team, but also equal pay for women.
I know I think this is like the fourth championship, maybe not in a row that they've won, but they've been winning a ton of championships the past handful of years. I know a lot of people are saying there is a wage gap that exists, but the men are bringing in more revenue than the women are. What do you guys think about that critique, and that the men are bringing in more money, and that's why they're making more?
Yeah, actually, it's not even the case that the men are bringing in more money. The FIFA World Cup pays the men's World Cup tournament $6 billion, and the women only $411 million. But that's not an excuse for laws in the United States. If they're employed in the United States, then my company can do business internationally. I'm still bound by the laws of the United States government, so it's just not a valid excuse.
Yeah. I know nowadays it feels like there's a lot of political conflict. This is the team that represents the entire United States. Do you think this is something that could help bring us together? And how can we help have this be something that does bring us together, even though there is some conflict with some captain and the president?
Yeah, absolutely. You just said it. Like, this is something that should bring us all together. Like, we won the World Cup. We won a championship. These women accomplish incredible things. Yeah, this is a win for the United States. It's not about, somebody's done something wrong. It's about paying equally and paying fair.
Many people were saying that the captain of the team, Megan Rapinoe, was unpatriotic in regards to how she was treating the flag. Do you think that she was unpatriotic, or that people just have their panties in a bunch about the whole flag issue that's going on?
Yeah.
I think people have their boxers in a bunch.
What do you think?
Agreed.
Just to finish up, was there anything else that you guys wanted to mention?
Go USA.
Yeah, I'm proud of the women. I think it's really cool how much they overcome every day. Like, they're having to complain to be paid properly for their work. They're going out and winning championships for our country and not being respected financially. Like, they have to give up a lot to do this. And so that's why we just wanted to come out and support today and show that, like, we're here for them. Like, we're not paying them, and we can't pay them more because it's not our job, but we want them to be represented equally. Yeah.
What's it say? Excuse me, sir. I think your sign looks cool. Is there any chance I can get an interview? I have a YouTube channel where I interview people at different rallies and events. This is the least political one I've ever been to, but I see we have a Warren sign. So we're out here for the Women's Soccer World Cup celebration. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you're out here?
Sure. Elizabeth Warren's messaging about fighting for equality and against injustice is really consistent with what the women's national team did. Striving for equal pay, equal rights. Elizabeth Warren supports ratification of the Equal Rights Amendment, and the national women's team got it done, and so we're here celebrating both.
I know, similarly to Elizabeth Warren and the women's soccer team, they both have this beef with Trump. I know Megan Rapinoe said she doesn't want to go to the White House on that. What do you think about that, and the president not working well with the team that represents the United States?
Actually, Donald Trump does not represent the United States. I think you got that backwards.
Okay.
I think Megan Rapinoe represents the inclusive values of patriotism, liberty, equality, and justice. Capitalize all. Donald Trump does not. Yeah. Period.
I know the women's soccer team won, I think it's close to like 4 championships now, but they produce less revenue but still get paid less than the men's team. What do you think about that, and should we try to change that?
Absolutely. I think it's something that does need to be addressed, and I think at the end of the day, it's bottom line, it's about numbers, and I think seeing that America came out in support of the women's national team, and hopefully having that conversation, having politicians take it on like Elizabeth Warren, there's a great combination of messaging.
So we're out here today celebrating the Women's World Cup, the FIFA 2019 Women's World Cup. You're holding a sign says, America hater Megan Rapinoe. She is the captain of the Women's Soccer World Cup team. Can you tell me a little bit more about what the sign means?
Okay, the sign means I absolutely support the team. I'm as excited as anyone else here that our team won. why does Megan Rapinoe have to put her stupid America hatred on display and screw it up for everyone else? I'm protesting her, not the rest of the team.
I know Megan Rapinoe isn't the first person on any major team to say that they don't want to go to the White House. I believe this has happened before in other sports, and this is just the most recent one. What do you think about that beef between Megan Rapinoe? I also know once we won, she actually dropped the American flag while celebrating and threw it on the floor.
Right. I don't think she dropped it. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. It was accidentally dropped. She then treated it like a dropped piece of used toilet paper and stepped on it. So it's more her kneeling during the national anthem, her folding her arms when the national anthem is played. She's been very consistent. She does not like America.
I know we've also been talking a lot in recent years about how the women's soccer players aren't getting paid like the men's soccer players are. I understand they're bringing in less revenue, but they're still being paid less while winning more championships. What do you think about that disparity in the pay gap?
I don't feel strongly about it. I would point out that TV rights in the rest of the world does not have the enthusiasm for women's soccer that we do in America, so probably the men's team brings in more revenue.
I know winning is very American, but is winning in soccer very American, do you think?
Soccer has been around for 50 years. I played it for the first time in 1961. I remember it was a new, strange thing then. I think after 50 years, it's as American as any other sport.
Absolutely. Just to finish up, was there anything else you wanted to mention?
That's everything.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
They didn't want to go to the White House because, he grabs pussy openly.
Any chance I get it? Any chance I get an interview, sir?
Good thing he grabbed pussy and not dick. He's a man. That's what he's supposed to grab, a pussy, not a dick. What you want to grab, a dick? You want to grab some nuts or something?
I'm filming you too. Oh my God, I'm so scared.
Any chance I get an interview, guys?
Oh my God.
Excuse me, sir. Is there any chance I get an interview?
Sure.
So I'm making a video on the rally. We're out here today celebrating the Women's FIFA World Cup Championship. I think it's the fourth in some odd years. Can you tell me a little bit more about what it means for you to be out here?
Honestly, it is a beautiful thing to see people coming together, rather it's for the USA, rather it's for female rights of equal pay in sports. I think this is a miracle that's happening right now.
I want to speak specific to the wage gap. So I know the women are bringing in less revenue, but they have been winning more. Should they still get paid the same amount as the men do, even though they're bringing in less revenue?
I believe so, just because of the amount of agility it takes to become what they are. It's like a musician. There's some that make the same amount as other musicians, even though they don't sell the amount of albums.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting perspective. I also wanted to ask, it seems like a lot of athletes nowadays are beefing with Donald Trump. Most recently, it's been the captain of the soccer team here, Megan Rapinoe. She said she didn't want to go to the White House.
Right.
She's folding her hands. I'm not sure if she took a knee during the anthem, but people say she was disrespecting it. What do you think about that narrative? Is that something we should worry about?
I guess there's two things to point out about that. One, if I was her or any female, or even if I was a female on the soccer team, I'd be nervous as hell to go to a house where a guy was caught on camera saying grab the pussy.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, that's just logic.
Even though that, you're talking about that Trump thing off the record, in the side, you don't even think, you're not worried that was something that Trump said, while in private?
I mean, I understand where you're coming from with the other comments. Yeah. However, I'm just coming from my point of view. If I was in their position, that'd be an automatic no. Number two, I guess the other thing, you're talking about political movement. Sure, Kaepernick's been doing that too. I get it. The reason I get it is because if you feel indifferent about the country, that's your stand. I get that.
Could this win be something to help bring the U.S. together and bring the sense of pride together that it seems that we've been lacking in recent years? Something to unite us, really, right? This is a U.S. win, right? We should be all bringing us together.
I understand that. I guess you could say the same thing about sports or music, though, at the same time.
But this is winning against other countries. It's not like the NFL winning where we're fighting against within the country. It's the USA. We just beat a bunch of other countries to win the world championship.
I mean, same thing happens at the Olympics every 4 years. So...
Yeah. I'm going to go out on a hunch and assume you're not a Trump supporter. Who do you want to see beat him in 2020 amongst the Dems?
Myself.
Are you running?
I'm Peter Lober. Yeah, 2020. No, I'm not running.
Oh, just to finish up, was there anything else you wanted to mention?
I'm not sure who this is for, though, so that'd be nice to know.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel where I interview different protesters at events and anything.
Got it.
But thank you so much for your time,
All
sir. I
right.
really appreciate it. Thank you.
Right on.
So we're out here today for the 2019 FIFA World Cup Women's Championship celebration.
Absolutely.
I see you're holding a sign over here that says, "We did it, now pay us." Can you tell me a little bit more about what it means for you to be out here and what your sign means?
I mean, obviously, we've all been inspired by our women's team and by all the hardworking women in this country. And it's 2019. It's time to get on the equal pay board. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And
So I know women ended up winning like 4 championships in I forget how many years, but they've been winning a ton of championships recently. They do bring in less revenue as a total than the men do, but end up getting paid more than getting paid less than the men do. Why do you think that conflict there exists, and how should we try to change it?
I mean, it's history, right? It's our history. We're trying to change it and become better every moment as America, and that's what we have to do, this included. So as long as we can just keep spreading the word and keep fighting for our rights, equality, pay, everything, we're good to go.
I know there's been a little bit of conflict between the captain of the team, Megan Rapinoe, and the president. What do you think about that conflict? Is it a big deal, or should Americans just try to get together and celebrate a championship for America?
Well, I think that Rapinoe has a political platform to stand on right now, so she's in a very advantageous spot. So if that's what it takes for her to get the word out and to cause a little bit of a stir, then she's doing what she needs to do.
So would you like to see more politics in sports?
I mean, it's always good to see people come together. So whether that's politics in sports or politics in the people, whatever it means.
I know winning is very American, but is winning at soccer very American?
I mean, I think that everyone's inspired here, as you can see today. So it's a very American day. It's a beautiful thing when our country's successful. And but I think, even just the hard work, even if they didn't take home another title, but they did.
Yeah, they have so many titles.
Yeah.
But just quickly to finish up, was there anything else you wanted to mention?
Go USA. We're incredibly proud of you. Thank you for doing this for our nation.
Thank you guys so much. You have a sign over here. It says Trump wears yoga pants. Can you tell me a little bit about more why you're out here and what the sign means?
Yeah, it's my nonviolent protest against Donald Trump and his positions, which
Do you have something against yoga pants?
Actually, well, I'm not against yoga pants. Some people
very pro yoga pants.
Well, that's the beauty of America. It's a protected right under the First Amendment to wear them or not to wear them, because speech is not limited to the spoken word.
Absolutely. So I know there's been a lot of beef between the team's captain, specifically Megan Rapinoe, and Trump. She isn't the first athlete to kind of get into it with Trump. What do you think about that?
Well, actually, I think that there's really no beef. She was asked a question and she expressed her opinion on it. The president decided to, he's always misinformed. He's always late on issues. And so when somebody told him about something she said a year ago, then he decided to jump on it because, he wanted to divert the attention from the actual event to himself, because that's what he does outside of deflecting. Because when he's not telling one of the 11,000 and counting lies, he has to draw attention to himself. That's why he says, "Believe me," a lot. You could say, well, they just scored 10 goals, and he will say, well, they scored 10 goals because I'm president. Believe me. That's the type of.
Well, they won before he was in office too, I suppose. So yeah.
Well, I'm quite sure he's going to say something like, well, they anticipated the economy was going to be booming, even though it's really not booming. But
You don't think the economy's booming? Like, what do you want to see change in the economy? Trump boasts often about historically low Black and Hispanic unemployment. He says the stock market's booming. How do you think the stock market could be better?
Okay. Well, number one, the economy is not booming. We're living under what's called Reaganomics. I'm old enough to understand that. And the fact is that if you look at the GDP, it's 2.2% growth. Now, if you average that over
Wait, was it this quarter we had 2.2%? Because I know a few quarters ago we've been hitting like 3.5 on average.
Well, they went up to 3.4, but when they actually did the true adjustment, because you got to remember the government was shut down.
Sure.
So they inflated the figures to a higher number. They're always going to round up. They will never show a true figure when the government's shut down. But when they actually went back to work and they showed the figures, it was 2.2% growth. Now, if you average that out over his terms in office of 2 years, that's a 1.1% growth. Well, Obama, he had a 460% growth through his 8-year term.
I'm not sharp on these numbers. I'll have to go look it up to confirm that.
Well,
but I wanted to follow up by asking you. I know there have been a lot of beefs with Trump and other athletes as well. And now I'm talking namely like Colin Kaepernick. A lot of conservatives, people who lean right, are upset at how people are behaving during the national anthem. Sometimes they take knees and things like that. What do you think about that?
Well, number one, you have to understand something. the athletes are not beefing with the man. The man has a problem with people of color. So if you look at the people that he's targeting, it's always about the black football player or a black baseball player, or he has a problem with women. So he likes to target people.
You don't think Trump's ever beefed with white people? You think it's specifically like he's racist towards black people and he seeks out beef with them specifically?
Other than naming somebody who lives an alternative lifestyle, name me one white person that Trump had issues with that he's called out.
Nancy Pelosi?
Okay, but she's not an athlete.
Joe Biden? Oh, and then an athlete specifically, I'd have to look at it, but to say he's seeking out black people specifically, before Trump was president, it seemed like everybody thought he was very pro-black. Then once he started running, there's been this slander on him that he's not. So what has he done that makes you think he's not pro-black?
Okay, well, number one, I don't see anybody who said that they believe that Donald Trump was pro-black, and he has no initiatives or policies.
I do. I've spoken to people who think so.
And to be honest, I don't want my president to be pro-black, just like I didn't want Obama to be pro-black. He's not supposed to be pro-anything. He's supposed to be the representative of this nation for all people.
So we're out here today for the 2019 FIFA World Cup Championship. The women won, I don't know if it's the third or fourth time in a row. Fourth, but we've been winning a ton. Can you tell me a little bit more about what it means for you guys to be out here?
Well, actually, all three of us we play college soccer together, so it kind of means a lot to us seeing not just role models for playing soccer, but just for making a change. You know?
Yeah, and for little girls to have someone to look up to and watch them and know like you can do it.
And it's amazing like seeing all these people out here like they're here for them. Yeah,
especially like supporting women in sports like out here for them. That's awesome.
Who's your guys' favorite player on the team?
Oh my God, Kristen Press for sure. She's so cool.
What about you?
I don't really have a favorite. I love Megan just because she's a badass, but like they're all badasses. So
I know Megan's been getting in a lot of beef with the president recently. People don't think she's been respectful during the anthem. It's been kind of a public beef with Trump. Do you think she should be battling with the president? Do you think she's standing up for rights for people? What do you guys think about that?
I believe she's standing up for rights for people. Someone needs to, and I'm glad she's doing that.
I also think he just needs to let her have this. Like let her enjoy winning the World Cup. It's her dream. Like don't ruin it for her.
Yeah, and I think like what she's doing is amazing. Like being like famous and like looking, all these people like are probably like hating and like loving her, and it's good for her that she's like standing up for people and like herself and everything.
I know in the country nowadays it feels like there's a lot of political tension between a lot of different groups nowadays. Do you feel like this win could help bring the USA together?
I wish. I hope.
I think it shows that what people in the U.S. can do when they like work together. Like they're a perfect example of working together as a team, like to achieve a goal for your country.
And if Americans work together, we could beat anybody else, right? The women's soccer team kind of shows that, right?
Yeah.
You said it.
I'm assuming you guys aren't Trump supporters. You could tell me if you guys are. Who do you guys want to see beat Trump in 2020?
Anyone but him at this point, honestly.
Yeah,
not anybody. I
don't know. It's definitely a difficult situation, but like he needs to go. He needs to go. But
just to finish up, was there anything else you guys wanted to mention?
Support women, support girls, support soccer, encourage girls to play soccer, everything.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you, ladies.
Who are you talking to?
I'm doing outros.
All right, but I'm not in the way.
No, you're good. Just act natural.
No. I took a sick day.
Oh, don't worry. Nobody watches my videos.
No, you might be famous. I don't know.
No, do I look famous?
Yes.
Hey everybody, thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode. I wanted to pose the question back to you. What did you think about the questions I was able to ask? Let me know down in the comments. If you guys are able to, please consider supporting me on my PayPal or Patreon. If this is your first time here, guys, please consider commenting, and subscribing. Until next time, stay barely informed.